This week on a podcast from Beneath, we're going to talk about 2019's Brightburn.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. The unburied dead are coming back to life, seeking human victims.
And here, it's just me and Mr. Poe this week. Billy unable to join us, but I think me and Billy are going to do something special this Sunday. So just right now, me and Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe, how's it going today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I feel like Rango sometimes. I'm just a little guy running around trying to hide before people figure me out.
Right.
So that's how I'm doing, man.
So did you do anything fun today?
Oh, yes, I had a blast at work. No, I didn't. I posted a lot on social media because today was extra special. Of course, it's Friday the 13th and a full moon and everything. So, I mean, it was pretty cool to see all the different posts and everything people were doing. It was just a special day, It was pretty cool for horror,
Yeah, I think I was probably the only person that posted about the Friday the 13th of the series.
Yes, I saw that.
I don't know if a couple of people liked it. I'm assuming a lot of people are just like, "What is this guy talking about?" Because I didn't I just had the picture of the three characters. I didn't put the title, so everybody's probably concerned of like, why is he posting what looks like a cast of a Murder, She Wrote episode on Friday the 13th. But no, I love that show. That was a really good show. I remember watching it when it first came on, and it was like the X-Files before the X-Files.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, a lot of people don't remember that, and shoot, I don't even know how old I was, but I remember seeing the commercials on TV for it. I do remember that, and of course, I don't think I was old enough to watch it, but I remember seeing the commercials about it.
It started in '87 and ran to 1990.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was really good. It was if anybody doesn't know, it's about these three characters. They run a antique shop, and all of the pieces that this store sold were cursed. So they're trying to get all the pieces back to from people that bought them. And of course, like I said, everything's all of them are cursed. So it was kind of like an X-Files, but it had like like a Twilight Zone type of feel. So each week was a different artifact that was cursed in a different way, so it kept it kind of fresh. But I really enjoyed it, and that's why I posted that today, because I figure everybody else is going to be posting Jason Voorhees stuff. So.
Yeah. Guilty as charged
right.
On my end. Yeah, I love the Friday the 13th franchise. That's one of my favorite characters. I have all the movies, I got figures and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I just, a day like today was just extra special, like, yeah, Friday the 13th. And, me and my co-host on my other podcast, William, we used to, when we were younger, we used to get together on Friday the 13th and start bashing stuff because we were stupid.
Right, yeah.
We were like, Friday the 13th, yeah, and then we'd watch a movie or something, then we'd go outside and break like a pool ladder or something. It was
yeah, Friday the 13th, the movies, they are definitely they're probably one of my favorites too. As far as the slasher franchise goes, because I feel like with the other franchises, if you go with like Nightmare on Elm Street, it started off as a serious movie, and then it just got campier and campier. It just became it just became all about how goofy Freddy Krueger can be, which it's fine, whatever. But to me, the Friday 13th, even though the first one was, you could say, more serious, but it never got to like a really, except for when they went to space.
Yeah,
it never really got ridiculous, goofy, and I think it's because the character doesn't talk. So you don't have that. You know what I'm saying? It's about the kills and the gore and the nudity, and that was it. And that's why they're really good.
I mean, that's all you need in a movie, a horror movie anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Freddy kind of got kind of comical, and he was more of the jester, you know. And Jason was just a damn killing machine. And I mean, some of his movies, like you said, with Jason X, and then they got, Freddy versus Jason. A lot of silliness was going on. I mean, it wasn't those first films, like part 1 to 3, 4, 5, and my favorite 6. I mean, they kind of had that serious element in it. It didn't go too wacky, but yeah. Speaking of, if I can, Friday the 13th, today was the drop of an independent film called Friday the 13th Vengeance, and it's a fan-made film, and they dropped it today, and people were able to watch it for free on YouTube, so check that out. And there's other fan films. I mean, man, there's so many. And I'm kind of glad they're doing it because that's all we're going to get for a while, man.
Right, with the lawsuit and everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, you get your Jason fix, the new stuff. It's all fan-made. So, but anyway, I wanted to shout that out real quick. I mean,
right, yeah.
I thought that was neat, how they did that.
All right, so I guess we'll move into the news segment of this show.
Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
And our first headline is going to be an update on Sid Haig. He's apparently doing fine. I guess the accident that he had was he fell, I believe is what it was.
Yeah.
And went to the emergency room. And I guess something happened. He was, I guess, asleep or something and had threw up in his mouth and I guess inhaled something into his lungs. And that's why he was in there trying to get all that taken care of. But apparently he's doing fine. So that was really good to hear today.
Yes, I was very happy to hear that. Don't go anywhere, Sid.
Yeah.
Don't leave us in this world and leave other people, still walking around.
It's hard to keep a good clown down.
Yes. No, cheers to Sid, man. I hope he gets a lot better, and I am definitely going to, even more so now, try to go to the San Antonio Comic-Con down here in Texas because he's going to be there, and I want to go and meet him. So
there you go, yeah.
So,
and of course, his new movie, 3 from Hell, is coming out in, what is it, a week now?
Yeah, I believe it's next weekend, and it just goes for 3 days.
3 days. 3 from Hell, 3 days. But they announced today that I guess the Blu-ray will be coming out in October. So.
Oh well.
So it sounds like it's going to be coming to DVD pretty quick there. So that's pretty exciting if you don't get to go see it in theater.
Yeah, shit. I'm definitely going to add it to my collection, and of course. A friend of ours, Billy Blair's in it. He's part of I guess it's like a little group called the Black Satans or something. They wear like luchador masks and suits and stuff. And yeah, Billy Blair's in it, man. So that's
you have to get him to autograph your Blu-ray copy.
Should get a copy of the luchador mask. Have him sign that. Shit.
There you go. But another movie that I know we both want to add to our Blu-ray collection that we saw a trailer for was called Killer Sofa.
I will be in line when this comes out.
It's gonna have like a midnight releasing, like a release party, and it's called Killer Sofa. But we watched the trailer and it was actually a killer recliner. So I'm kind of confused. I don't know if maybe is this a foreign film and they call a sofa something different there or something. I don't know.
Well, they all had the British accent.
Yeah.
So maybe they call, because they call, fucking chips crisp and stuff. I mean, maybe they call recliners sofas, but over here, sofas to us in America
It's a full size couch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a full size couch. But I thought it was going to be a full size couch.
Yeah, sofa. But yeah, killer sofa. It actually looked. I mean, this movie is aware of what it is, so don't.
Yes.
It's a horror comedy. But it actually looked decent. It looked pretty good, interesting.
Oh yeah,
check it out.
Well, shit, man, the camera work and everything. But yeah, just the title alone enticed me because I know we have those kind of minds. We have those minds that are like, huh, what is that? A killer sofa?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then the other movie that you pointed out to me. I'm really interested in it. You want to let him in on that one?
Yeah, it was Devil's Revenge. Stars William Shatner and Jerry Ryan, both former stars of Star Trek, and I believe it was also written by someone who was a writer on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
See, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, what? He just got tired of space, and he was like, nah, I'm going to go to hell.
There you go. But it looked decent too. Not sure really what it's about, just based off the trailer. Apparently, there's some guys that go spelunking and maybe run into some kind of creature. The creatures look really good though.
Yes, they do.
And because they show them in the trailer, they look really good. So I'm looking forward for that one to come out. I'm sure it's just going to be straight to streaming or Blu-ray or DVD soon.
Hell yeah! I know I'll be watching it. When you showed me the trailer, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna check this out, and now I really want to see it. So yeah, right. It's in our wheelhouse.
Yeah,
that's all I can say about this movie.
And then another trailer that I saw was called Satanic Panic, and I believe it's about ready to come out. I think it's going to get maybe like a festival showing before it comes out on Blu-ray. But I watched the trailer for it, and it definitely looks like it's going to be a fun ride, too. It's got Rebecca Romaine Stamos and Jerry O'Connell are in it.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
It looks pretty good. I think it's this girl is a pizza delivery girl, I believe.
Yeah.
And ends up going to trying to deliver a pizza. I'm assuming ends up in the wrong place, and she ends up in a mansion where they're having some kind of satanic ritual that's going on. So it looks like it might be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm very interested in it as well. Just from the trailer I saw, and I think I saw this a couple weeks ago, and I know it's already streaming and everything. You can rent it and all that. So we're definitely going to be looking at that, and I guess telling these folks all about it.
Yeah, hopefully it comes to Amazon Prime soon.
Yes,
that's where I watch all my movies nowadays.
Yeah, I thank you, sir, for telling me to get it because
no problem.
I love the hell out of it, and I get to see all independent films and all sorts of stuff. One more thing I wanted to add because I saw it today. The movie Don't Fuck in the Woods. The director he wants to make a part 2, and they're looking for producers and stuff. So if you got a little extra change and anything, throw it that guy's way. I mean, I really would like to see part 2 to this crazy movie. I love the first one.
Yeah, part one was fun.
Yes, it was. It was a fun movie, and yeah, I want to see a part 2. So I might be throwing some funds his way, and I just wanted to get the word out for him. I think it'll be cool. Do
they have a Indiegogo or Kickstarter? Which one are they on?
He had a Facebook live video today, so I guess he's just throwing it out there like he's going to be doing this, and he's looking for producers and stuff. Okay. Like, you know how they do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to throw it out there. If you loved the first one, which I did, I liked it a lot. If if you want to see part 2, throw some money their way, and they can get it done. So
there you go. Have another enjoyable movie to watch.
Hell yeah. So, but I know we talked a lot about all these, but yeah, I always like to give a little shout out to the independent guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then the last little bit of news I have is surprise. I was surprised last night when they done it, but the Ghost released 2 new songs. The first one was called "Kiss the Go-Goat," which they have a video for. And then the other song that they released is called "Mary on a Cross." I listened to both of them. I love "Kiss the Go-Goat."
Yes.
They've done it in a style. I mean, I'm not going to go into the entire story of like what Ghost is doing right now, but this song is apparently the band back in the 60s. This is one of their songs they released, and it's now, I guess they're going to release like the vinyl 50th anniversary, and the vinyl is called 7 Inches of Satanic Panic, and I guess it just has these 2 songs on it. But yeah, I have put it on the Facebook group, so if you haven't listened to it yet, go ahead and go over there and click on it and watch it. It's a very good song. I like it.
I heard that people are more like vinyl's outselling everything right now.
Yeah, I know. You can even get vinyl at Walmart now.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the Stranger Things 3 soundtrack. I'm like, okay, but not that I would want to buy the soundtrack to it on vinyl, but that's pretty cool that Ghost, is doing that. I think a lot of artists are doing that, and I don't know why. And it's not a bad thing. It's even with the movies. Everybody's going to VHS. They're finding like tapes of movies that they've never heard of, which I am all about. And I think that would be awesome to add to our arsenal of movies that we watch. Yeah. So we were like, what the fuck? Where'd you find that? You can't find it anywhere because it's on VHS.
Right.
So,
Ghost, when their last album came out, Prequel, they actually released it on 8-track also. It was like a limited run, but...
Yeah. Well, and I really, because I am a part of the Facebook group, I saw that and I watched the video after you said, I love this song. I wanted to listen to it. And I love how it sounds like it's from the 60s. That little organs. Oh, man. I was like, hell yes, this is awesome. So, yes, definitely. Check it out.
Yeah. If you're a fan of Ghost, check it out. Even if you're not, check it out because it's still a pretty good video.
If you're a fan of good music, good metal rock music, check it out.
All right, so Brightburn.
Yep.
What if a child from another world crash landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a hero to mankind, he proved to be something far more sinister? So, evil Superman is what we'll call it. This movie came out for some reason I was thinking it came out in 2018, but I guess it did come out. What was it? Beginning of 2019, I guess.
Yeah,
is that when it came out?
Did. Yeah.
I know it was a big hit when it came out.
Yeah, and what's funny is I don't think a lot of people tuned into it because they didn't really know what it was. They're just like, what the hell? It looks like Superman, but it's not. And I just love the hell out of this movie. I watched it 3 times because I liked it that much. I like the story. It's different. You get something instead of all the fluffy, superhero movies of them saving the galaxy or world. You get this, and it kicks you right in the face, and I love it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it too. I watched it for the first time today, and definitely had. I mean, you could definitely tell it was a Superman origin story.
Yeah, and they went with a different direction on it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's just that's what interests me whenever it first came out. They were first advertising it, and I was like, wow, this is a good, different take. Like, what if Superman didn't turn out to be good and he was an evil son of a gun? And this movie, I think, did a great job of showing that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then, of course, having having it all happen as he's still a kid. He's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Instead of because they could have done a he lands. You find out that the family he's with isn't all that great, and then cut to him as an adult. But I thought it was cool how they kept him. We're kind of going through it with him. We're there when he realizes he has the powers, and we're there when he realizes that he's going to be evil. And then of course, and he's only 12 years old. I thought that was a good way to do it.
It was an excellent way to do it. I agree with everything you just said. You get to do this journey with this guy, this kid, and just seeing his transformation from just a normal little, happy-go-lucky kid and doing good in school and all this. And he's kind of, I guess he was a little bit of an outcast because he was kind of a weirdo, to the other kids, but he was still a good kid. And
right.
Then, yeah, as we'll go through it, he turns out to be something quite different.
Yeah, so when the movie starts off, it's our the parents, which is Tori and Cal, played by Elizabeth Banks, and David Denman? I guess is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I just think of him when he was in The Office. He was an asshole, so.
Okay.
Pam's fiance.
He got familiar, but I couldn't place who he was. I've never seen the American version of The Office, so.
Oh, okay.
But he did look familiar. I think I recognize him from clips or something from it. But when the movie opens up, we realize that because it's kind of panning over a bunch of books on fertility, and we realize that this couple is having a little bit of problems getting pregnant, and of course we're getting ready to pan over to them attempting to get pregnant. When
they're having a romantic evening, as they say.
And that's whenever the Tori character, which is Elizabeth Banks, the mom, I guess she kind of hears something or whatever. She gets up to go see what it is, and that's when like a big, almost like an explosion happens, and it cuts outside, and we see like something had fell to Earth.
And I like the accuracy of how it shows how dumb us men are. Like, if we're in the mood, like, the whole house shakes. And she's like, what was that? And she gets up and she's like, did you hear that? And he's like, I didn't hear shit. So, pretty kudos on the accuracy of that.
Right,
Thank you, Brightburn.
Yeah, so again, it's just a Superman story. They go out there, it's a spaceship, has a baby in it. And then it cuts to, I guess, 12 years later, right? Or is there something else? Is there something else? Because for some reason I kept thinking it done like a, because it was doing like a cut to like home video footage.
Yeah, and this is in the beginning. Yeah.
Of him, like, so like they're kind of they're raising him as like a baby, and then I guess it shows him when he's like 2 or something, and then that's when it cuts to 10 years later.
Yeah.
And then that's him when he's 12 years old.
Yeah, and like we said, it's just the scenes that follow that, it's just a little happy, normal family, having breakfast and all that stuff, and taking the kid to school and everything. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it begins,
Yeah, and of course they don't tell him that where he came from.
No, they don't.
They keep it from him. They tell him that he was adopted, obviously. And I'm just wondering because I'm trying to figure out what made this kid evil, right?
Okay.
Was it the preteen, your parents tell you something, hey, you're not my real parents thing? Is it the kind of being, because they didn't really push the bullying thing in school much.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had to do with it, or was it just this spaceship that apparently calls out to him and is telling him to, take over the world?
Yeah. I think that you get to see little bits of him kind of getting mad because, like you said, they show him kind of getting bullied, and the girl that he likes isn't really paying attention to him. But then he starts having those dreams, and that ship, like you said, calls out to him in the night, and he's sweating. He's like, he doesn't know what the hell is going on, He's just thinking he's having a nightmare, I guess. And then I guess he's doing that transition, maybe because he's an alien. He might be hitting that, time around puberty, maybe that's why he's being called out. You know what I mean?
Right,
that's what I got out of it.
He's getting his alien puberty.
Yeah. Yeah, he's having not wet dreams, but nightmares of killing people, I guess.
Right.
Like taking over the world, Yeah.
But apparently, and of course they kind of make a point to say, look, don't go in the barn, because that's where they have his ship, I guess, hid from him. It's locked up in the floor, but he ends up going there, right? Like the way she puts it is, it's almost like he sensed that it was there, but he still doesn't know it's there yet. He's just there trying to open the doors, which they have like chained up and locked. But I'm just wondering if, so obviously with Superman, of course he knew he knew that he was alien the whole time, right? They didn't keep it from him.
No, they didn't keep it from him because, I mean, in Superman, he was a little baby and he lifted up the damn car.
Right, yeah.
He was in diapers and he just went,
Well, which is another good question in this movie. What triggers his powers in this movie? Was it the ship calling out to him, or did he have it all the time and just didn't realize it?
I think it was when the ship started talking to him or calling out to him. I think that's what helped him transition into what he is. Maybe all that stayed dormant when he was little, and then when the ship felt like he was ready to start messing shit up, that's when he started getting these acquiring his powers. That's what I interpret out of it.
Well, I just thought of something, too, because when I said that, I was trying to think of the first time that we see his powers, and it's when he's trying to start the lawnmower.
Yeah.
And it's not wanting to start, and he gets angry. So I'm thinking his power probably comes from being angry, if that makes any sense. You think that would, because up until this point, he's been, a pretty calm, laid-back kid, right?
Yeah.
And then when he starts getting angry, that's when the powers show up.
You know what? I think you're right on that. Because now I'm remembering that part. I forgot about that part where he's starting the lawnmower and he tossed it like
100 yards behind him. And then he walks up to it. And for whatever reason, I guess just because he thinks that he can throw something really far, it makes him also realize that he's indestructible and he can put his hand in the in the lawnmower while it's running in the blades.
So, that scene when he's about to put his hand in there, didn't it call out like he heard those little voices or that alien voice or something, and he went and he was standing there and then he put his hand in it?
He may have. He may have heard the voices. I don't remember if he did or not, but it would make more sense than just assuming that just because I have super strength means I can stick my hand in the spinning lawnmower blade. But
yeah, I think I would have chose maybe I can fly. Fuck it, let's see.
Yeah, maybe I can jump really high. But it kind of, to me, the beginning of the movie up until the point where he, let's say, becomes like the villain, I guess. Did you feel like it moved kind of slow, or?
Yeah, I guess it. Yeah, I guess it did move a little slow to get to that point, but then I think it was just building the anticipation. Like after you see that scene with the lawnmower, you're like, "Oh shit! Now what is he gonna do?" And then of course he, starts getting like he has some sort of confidence. Like shit, and if a blade can't cut me, what's the threat anymore? Of anything. Like his world just got flipped around, you know.
Right, and I would say that that would be another like difference of, let's say, why Superman didn't go evil, because he didn't just find out this stuff on his own. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
he's not
because
trying to he wasn't trying to deal with it by himself.
yeah, you had the kins that were badass to him
Right.
and taught him, you know, like, hey, you are something very powerful, and we're going to teach you to be a good person, and we're going to take you under our wing and teach you values and everything, and how to deal with this power that you have. And in this movie, they're like, oh, we don't want to tell him that, you know, because we want him to think that he's ours. He was, you know, conceived by us, you know.
Right. Well,
So they were
they tell him
selfish.
he's adopted.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or I forgot about that. But yeah, they don't want him to know that, you know, they found him in a pod outside.
Yeah, that he's from another planet somewhere. But I guess the next big scene would be when we start to see him, I guess, develop more of the. I don't want to say superhero, so I don't know what I guess we're just kind of a villain, right?
Yeah, we'll call him Super.
Super villain. But I guess the next part we see of it would be. But what I was going to say was I guess the next step that we see him becoming a supervillain is when they go camping. And of course, they find he has like Victoria's Secret's catalogs underneath his mattress, so they they know he's getting to the human puberty stage now.
Well,
And
not only that, he had those anatomy like pictures to like the insides of a person.
right, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the
like you would see like in a Grey's Anatomy book, but then he
yeah,
also had
yeah.
like detailed like photographs also.
Yeah, which was super weird.
Right. But so the whole family's going camping, and I guess the dad's going to have the talk with him. And I mean the sex talk, not the supervillain talk.
Yeah.
And of course, and I guess he kind of comes off as, the way I took it was, he's kind of telling the kid like, look, you're going to have urges or whatever, and I don't want to keep calling him the kid. Brandon is his name. I guess takes it to mean like, hey, I can act on these urges now. So I'm assuming, either runs really fast or flies to the girl's house that he likes. Right.
Yeah.
And
that scene was
he like sneaks into a room. Yeah, he like sneaks into a room and turns on her laptop and starts playing a song that I guess he wants her to hear. And of course, she's just trying to figure out, why is my laptop on all of a sudden. So she gets up and turns it off, turns around, and I guess he flies in real quick and turns it back on, and leaves again. And she's trying to figure out what's going on. And then I guess she sees him, like, I guess he's hiding behind the curtain or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course her mom comes in, and she tells him. Of course, when she pulls the curtains back, obviously he's gone, because he's like, superhuman fast. But the girl tells her mom that that's who it was. It was Brandon that was in her room.
Yeah, and I think they did that scene pretty well too. Where it was creepy. I mean, she, like you said, got up, turned it off, and then all of a sudden it comes back on, and actually I think she closes the laptop.
Yeah, she closes it and then puts stuff on top of it at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it all of a sudden comes back up again, and then she looks around the room, and the curtains blow just a little bit, and you get to see the form of Brandon there. And
yeah, it reminded me of the scene from 3 Men and a Baby, where the where the ghost where the ghost is in the window,
cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
Listen, that movie didn't need any more haunting. You had Ted Danson in it, okay? It didn't need anything else. We didn't need any real ghost in it.
But actually, I think I skipped over a scene where we see more of his anger, and that's at his birthday party, right? But that happened before this.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Um,
The uncle gives him
a
I guess it's a
gun.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, something like a gun for his birthday. But his dad, for some reason, doesn't want him to have it. I don't know. I don't know why they don't go into the detail of it. It's not important. But Brandon gets mad that his dad won't let him have the gun. He like slams on the table, and of course, some electrical stuff happens on the machines and stuff around them. I guess they're in a restaurant. There's like some arcade machines. They kind of flicker when he does it.
Yeah. And and his dad's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna have this," and he said, "Give it to me." And
Yeah,
he's
and
like,
like
"What'd you
slams
say
the
to
table.
me?" Yeah, which I would have got pissed off too. Like, all right, you little shit. Now we're going home.
Right. So again, that goes back to, you're a 12-year-old kid and you realize you can stick your hand in a lawnmower and not lose it. You're immediately going to have this, well, I can do whatever I want, right?
Yeah,
Which is, I
like
think that's where
screw you.
yeah, I think that's where his attitude change comes from, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. So go back to the scene I was talking about where he breaks into the girl's house. Obviously she's freaked out. And then I guess the next day I guess it's gym class or something. I don't know. But they have all the kids standing in a circle, and you're supposed to. I guess it's almost like the trust fall, except you're falling in all different directions because you're pretty much encircled by everybody, and of course they're supposed to push it back. And that girl is part of it. And whenever it's his turn, whenever he falls towards her, she just steps back, right?
Yeah.
She's like catching him, and he falls and hits his head.
Yeah,
And then,
it freaked him. Or she's freaked out by him.
yeah, because he broke into her room. So then, whenever the gym teacher's like, hey, you have to, help him up because it's your fault, and she says no because he's a pervert. And that's whenever she goes to grab his hand, and he squeezes her hand and like crushes her hand and breaks her arm.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty not as gruesome as I thought it was going to be because I know that was a shot from the trailer, and in the trailer it kind of cut away before it really showed anything at all, and I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit more than what it was.
Yeah. Well,
You,
shit.
you kind of see her hand, like crush a little bit, and then you see the arm break, but there was no blood or anything like that.
Yeah. Still that scene. Yeah. That I still cringe at that. I don't like
I
hearing
cringed in
breaking of bones.
there's one scene that I cringed at in this entire movie, and that was the chewing on the fork,
Oh yeah. Oh my God. He's just
which
sitting there.
which was in the trailer, so I'm not really like you know moving ahead too quick because the trailer. But yeah, that's the scene where I'm just like I could feel it.
Yeah, like
You could
you could
feel that the fork in your mouth, like scraping your teeth. And of course he's biting on it and like bending all the prongs on it. And the sound they used was like perfect to like make me cringe and like, I'm getting like goosebumps now just thinking about it.
I'm getting that metal taste in my mouth because of it. Oh man.
Like I would
Yeah.
rather like for some reason I would rather like chew on foil, like
Oh.
foil than I would the fork. The fork thing it gets me every time.
Yeah, that scene and there's just little scenes in between all this where he's doing weird shit like that. And then after all that, when he breaks the girl's hand, they go home and all this, and the dad gets pissed at him, and he pretty much says, leave me alone. He's like, no, we're going to talk about this. And he pretty much shoves the old man like really hard, and he falls into like a cabinet, I guess.
No, that happened later. That was like
Oh,
way
it
that
does?
was way
Oh,
late.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm jumping ahead now.
Yeah. I think what happens next is it cuts to they're in the principal's office with the mom of the girl who also worked at that restaurant that they were having the birthday party in. And of course, the cop, they had the sheriff's there, I guess, because the mom wanted the sheriff there, and then the parents. And they're all talking about, what had happened. And I guess this is when we get the first kind of understanding that he has also super hearing because he can hear them talking.
Yeah.
Pretty clear through of course, I mean, he's just right outside the hall. It's not like a soundproof room or anything, but he's like, he's sitting in the hallway outside the principal's office. But I guess he can kind of hear him, and he hears that girl's mom. She says some pretty mean things about him and about his parents. But I guess she wants him to be arrested or whatever. She's making like I don't know. That character came off as really unlikable.
Well,
but then I'm also thinking, well, he did break her daughter's hand.
Yeah.
But still, the character, she was a real bitch, and I don't really like her.
I think it's because she works at a restaurant. She has to deal with people's shit all day. That's why
and now she's not going to take it.
Yeah, she's not taking it anymore. No, yeah, I kind of got the same vibe from her. Like, at first she was nice, and then, yeah, this happens, and I don't blame her because I got two sons. I'd probably be pissed off too if someone broke their hand, but I'd also be kind of concerned, like, how the hell did a 12-year-old get that kind of strength? Like, she put her hand in machinery or something.
Yeah, to like completely crush it. Like,
yeah,
almost, I would say liquefy the insides of it.
Yeah, so I'd be kind of freaked out, but yeah. She did come off.
So she makes. I think the final comment she makes is something about, we don't know who his real parents, and we don't know anything about it because we don't know who his real parents are, and that's when Tori says, "Well, I'm his real mom," and then the other mom says something about, "Well, we don't know who the real inbred parents were," or something like that. Anyway, something real, mean spirited or whatever. Which I guess is what he hears. And then so they leave. And then we get our first, I guess, this will be like our first death scene, right?
Yeah, and there is another scene that we kind of skipped over to, is actually it's right after. No, we didn't skip to it. It's the next scene where the mom is talking to her sister or something, and then she sees Brendan outside sketching in his book.
Oh yeah, he's drawing the
symbol.
Yeah, the symbol, which is, I guess, two B's back to back, which is, that's Brandon Breyer. Breyer's their last name. So it's like two B's, but obviously if you've seen the trailer, it's like the Brightburn symbol, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like covering like a whole page in his notebook, and of course, got the cover of his notebook too.
And like you said, then we get to the diner at night.
Yes, of course, we have the mom of the girl with the broken hand. I'm assuming she lets the cook. She locks the door behind him when he leaves, so that means she's in there by herself. The windows are all fogged up. Not fogged. Is it fogged up? Am I saying that right? Because it was raining, so I'm assuming it's a little bit warmer outside than it was inside the restaurant. So yeah, they're like kind of fogged up.
Yeah, all the windows get
all the windows are, yeah. And of course she's cleaning up or counting money or something. And then we kind of hear real quick like a finger being drug across glass. And when she looks up, she sees that all the windows are covered with the Brightburn symbol, which is, what we were just talking about, the two B's that are like back to back. And of course, we know that it's him.
Yeah.
And then I'm not for sure what power he has that, where he can kind of control electricity. Because like I said, he done it in the restaurant when he slammed his fist down. And like I said, all the the machines in there kind of flickered a little bit. but he has some control over where he is able to, I guess, over surge the fluorescent lamps that are hanging up, and they blow up in this woman's face.
Oh man, yeah, that scene right there. That was another cringe, and this movie has a lot of them. That's why I loved it so much. There's so many cringe-worthy moments in this movie.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell them what happens.
Well, she's kind of freaked out because she sees that symbol everywhere, and then, like you said, the lights start flickering. All the electricity kind of it's looking like it's a short or something. And she looks up, and the fluorescent bulb explodes, and the shards fall right into her face. And so she hits the ground, and then when she gets up, like, she removes her hands from her face, and you see all the little bits of glass. But the cringeworthy part I'm about to get to was the piece that was in her fucking eye.
Yeah.
And I loved it because I watched this the first time by myself, and then the second time I watched it with my wife and my son. And my son was like, "Oh, no, don't do that." And she grabs it and she pulls, and I don't know what possesses someone to, is that like a natural reaction? Because I don't think I could do that. This woman had some balls, okay?
I would say it's like a really high intense.
Oh man,
getting a splinter, where you're just like, oh, I gotta get that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's in your freaking eye.
It's in your eyeball. Yeah, I get that. Like in the eyeball. We should justify that it's in her eyeball.
Oh yeah,
in the middle, going through the pupil.
And when she pulls that son of a gun out, oh man, I that was another cringeworthy moment for me.
A lot of eye juice came out, and then I guess for some reason a big spurt of blood.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they did their research, but I've never seen anything like that. Especially in a horror movie, and that's another thing about this movie. There's a lot of scenes in this I've never seen this. You always get the, goofy, like, someone gets stabbed in the eye and it gets plucked out. And, of course, it looks like a little round eyeball, which everybody knows your eyes are not really like that.
Right. So, and a lot of movies do it, too, where it's they kind of treat the eyeball as like a liquid-filled sack.
Yeah.
But it's not really. It's a, more solid, muscle type.
Yeah, but
it's definitely painful looking.
Oh, yeah, and good job on it. And I loved how they did where she's looking around, and it's like you're looking through her eyes, and of course one eye you could see real clear, and she's freaking out, and the other side is blood. That was fucking sweet. I love that.
Yeah, especially when she's looking around, and you can see like Brandon in the background through the bloody eye, but you can tell that she doesn't see him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she can't make him out. Of course, we're looking for him, so. But it was just kind of cool how they done that, and that's how he kind of hid.
Yeah, that scene was awesome, and then of course we get the first glimpse of his little created costume, if you will.
Yeah. So when I seen the trailer, I assumed he made an entire costume, but he just makes a cape and a hood.
Yeah, which is
the
perfect.
Clothes that he wears is just whatever he happens to have on that day. And I'm pretty sure it was made because it's made out of the blanket that we see him covered up in a couple of scenes, and I'm wondering if this is the blanket that was on the ship with him.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
I think that's why he chose that to make his costume out of it, which I love the mask. I don't know why. I just love it.
Yeah,
I like how it looks. It's intimidating, it's like, it's just really awesome.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
It looks like a red ski mask.
Yeah.
Instead of like an opening for the mouth, it's there's just like a shoelaces going all the way down from like the bridge of the nose, like all the way down past the chin. I thought it looked really cool. But after she realizes that, someone is in the restaurant with her, that's when she gets up and but she goes behind the counter and gets a baseball bat. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you're going to do with that, but,
Well, we know what she's up against.
Right, yeah.
She's freaking out, so she grabs that as a weapon, and of course, that is not a good idea.
No. She makes a couple swings in the air and knocks the money off the counter, but she ends up running to the deep freeze. And of course, this was a a big part of the trailer. Also, this scene, she's in the deep freeze. She's got the door shut, and we see like the door start to be cut open. Looks like a welding torch or something. Of course, we know it's him. And then I guess he pulls the doors open, and you kind of see him just kind of floating there, and he flies in towards her. And of course, it just cuts away. It didn't show anything after that. It basically, that scene ends like the end of the trailer.
Yeah, which is I really loved it. I like that they left that mystery there. I like that.
Right, because what I was expecting a lot more gore, right? And of course, we just had the hand crush, which didn't show anything, and we got the the glass in the eyeball, which like I said was in the trailer. So I thought, okay, when he goes in here and gets her, this is what it's gonna be, and then no, nothing. I was like, oh, I'm starting to get disappointed. But it's coming, so. And I guess the next scene is like just the police investigating the. Of course, that's when we found out she's just missing. Like they don't find a body there or anything. She's assumed missing. And I don't know how this sheriff sees it, but he notices one of the drawings on the window. And I'm like,
I had the same question. I was like, how the hell did he catch that?
Yeah, he didn't see that. And he walks up and he breathes on the window to kind of refog it, and shows one of the Brightburn symbols on the window. Of course, he doesn't know what it is yet either, so. But I just couldn't figure out how he saw that.
Yeah, that was a weird scene to me too. I just looked at the TV like, okay, I guess we'll go with that. He just.
Well, I guess it's possible if you run your finger across a window or something, you're leaving oils and stuff there. So I guess if the sun hit it just right, he probably would have seen the out.
I guess so. I'll give you that.
That's what, oily skin is what. That's how we'll go with it. But yeah, so I guess after that is he's talking to the school counselor, which is also his aunt, right?
Yes.
Or aunt.
She got us. No, I think that's her sister. So it is his aunt.
Yeah, but she's not the real mom, so that'd be the step aunt, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, I get where you're going with it.
I couldn't remember if I was doing the right. Yeah, it would be.
Well, anyway, she's the counselor for the school, and he has to go to her and talk to her about why he did what he did. So, yeah, we get that scene where he gets, he's sitting there talking to her about, or he's not talking at all. She's trying to get more out of him. And he's like, you should just leave this alone because it's not going to be good for anybody, especially you. I was like, holy shit.
Well, that's what he says later. In this one here, he just says, because she's talking about what happened. He was like, he makes a statement of, almost like he was saying it was that girl's fault. Like,
like he had no remorse. Like he had no remorse. She was trying to get something out of him. And he had like no remorse whatsoever. He was like, whatever,
Yeah, I think he said something about like sometimes things happen for a reason or something.
Yeah.
As almost a way to say like, she deserved it. And of course the aunt is, she basically says like, look, I have to report to the sheriff tomorrow, tell him what what I'm getting out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I can't lie for you because we're related. And of course, that's when he kind of says like, it probably won't be a good idea for you to talk to the sheriff.
Yeah. So I did remember correctly, just the wrong order.
Yeah. At what point did the mom? At what point did she tell the dad that he found the ship?
Oh, that was like
Is that a lot earlier in the movie?
it was, and I know we're getting to the juicy bits because I mean it does, like you said, it kind of drags on a little bit. But yeah, I mean, she did tell the dad, hey, he went to the barn and he was tugging at the chains.
Right.
And he's like, with a weird look on his face, like, what? And she goes, yeah, but he didn't find it. But after all these events started happening, of course, the diner and then, him going through all this other stuff, showing his anger and all that good stuff. That's when, he gets to where he's talking to his aunt about, not showing any remorse or whatever. So, yeah, it was kind of early. We did kind of skip over that little part. I mean, it's important, but yeah, it's like I said, little parts lead up to all the big reveal and everything.
Yeah. But I guess his plan now is, because he knows that his aunt is going to have to talk to the sheriff.
Yeah.
So his plan is to go to her house. I don't know what he was going to do yet, but kind of at the same time we see her husband, which is the uncle, the guy that tried to give him the gun for the birthday. Him and the dad are with another friend, and they're shooting pool and drinking, and that's whenever I don't know, his uncle says something about, I guess kind of makes a joke about, are you sure that your son didn't, kill the waitress? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. And he kind of got pissed off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he
no, he
yeah.
couldn't have done anything like that. Like, oh, you're sure your son's not involved, and they're being, just guys hanging out and joking around.
Right. But that's kind of going on at the same time that Brandon is going to the aunt's house.
Yeah.
But anyways, he says, "Well, I'm going to leave," and of course they're like, "You've been drinking." He's like, "Well, it's just a little bit under. I'll be fine," because that kind of sets up something for later. So when he goes to her house, like I said, I'm not for sure if he was planning on killing her when he got there.
I kind of got that vibe. Like, I thought that's what he was there for. Like, he does like an idle threat, and then of course you get to see the signs of him getting pissed off, where the lights in her house are going on and off and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, they have like a weird security system that has like a, I guess, motion sensor in the backyard that turns on lights and then audibly tells you that there's motion detected in the backyard, which to me would get annoying. Was anytime a dog or something walks past, it's going to say that.
Like, well, when you live out in the country.
Was just I figured that was just a reason. That was like they only put that there to make it scary. I think. I don't think that's that would be an effective security system at all. Because it goes off like 2 times. It says that someone there's a motion detected in the backyard and the lights come on, and she doesn't see anything out there. But then we hear like a knock at the door, like a big knock. Like you assume it's like an adult, like knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And when she opens the door, it's Brandon.
Yeah. It's just this little 12-year-old.
Yeah. He doesn't have his mask or anything on. I guess he's just there to talk to her, right? And this is where he tells her like, you shouldn't talk to the sheriff because it won't be good for anybody. That's when he says this line. And of course, she's
she gets a little freaked out.
Yeah, I would say she definitely gets freaked out, and she's like, she's like, well, you got, you should just leave, go back home. And then whenever she shuts the door, like almost instantly, the security thing goes off again. And it says there's movement in the backyard. And this time the lights are kind of messed up. They're not really coming on. So I'm assuming that he ran from the front door around the back. And then
he was just going around,
Yeah, just running around. And of course she goes out there and she's trying to mess with the lights. And I kept waiting for like something to happen. Like, oh, he's going to come out and, come out of the woods or, come out of the, but he doesn't. Like, it was just suspense the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Just waiting.
Yeah,
because
he was just messing with her.
You know what he's going to do. But she ends up going back inside and goes to bed, right? And I'm just like, okay, now what's going to happen? And then the husband comes home, and of course, he's drunk. He stumbles in. She's already asleep. And he goes to the bathroom. He's going to brush his teeth, and when he leans over the sink to spit, and when he comes back up, we can see Brandon reflecting in the mirror behind him as like kind of like hovering up on the wall there.
Which that scene was badass. I mean, yeah. He's wearing his mask. He's kind of up on the wall like Spider-Man. Just looking at it.
And then whenever the uncle leans down again, I guess, spit back in the sink, that's whenever Brandon like tries to fly out of the room and into the closet. But for I guess it's the wind that he causes.
Yeah.
The uncle's like, oh, what was that? And he goes in there and he flips the light on, and then here's this kid standing there with this mask on. And of course, he takes his mask off, and he's trying to ask him what he's doing there. Like, he's like, he says something about she was helping with my homework, and he's like, what are you doing in my closet with a mask on?
Yeah, kind of weird to see your nephew in the closet with a mask on.
Yeah, at whatever time it is, midnight or whatever.
Yeah, it was already dark and everything, and he gets pissed off. He's like, all right, come on, I'm taking you home,
Yeah, so he gets him outside, and he takes him around the passenger side door, and then he walks around the driver's side, and when he realizes that he didn't get in, he walks back around, and we see that Brandon has now put the mask back on. And when he turns around, his eyes are glowing red. And he kind of shoots him with like a cyclops beam. That just kind of pushes him back towards, hits the garage door.
Yeah, freaks him the hell out.
Yeah. And then he takes off. And then whenever the uncle comes to, he realizes that he's gone. So I guess he's gonna go try to find him. And I guess he doesn't really understand what happened, I guess.
Yeah, he's a little freaked out, and he says probably the coolest line in the movie where he's like, oh, hell no. Like, screw this shit. And one of the things I don't get is, I mean, he was already at his house. Why did he get in his truck and speed off? What was his plan?
I'm assuming he was going after Brandon. I don't know.
Well, I think he was running away from him. He got in the truck and started driving off like, screw this. This kid's weird. I'm out of here. Maybe he was driving to his parents' house to ask what the hell. Maybe that's what he was doing.
Yeah, but he was definitely doing something.
but
yeah, we see. Go ahead.
No, that was just my favorite part of the movie. His line and everything running from him.
Yeah, because we see him, he's driving, and then we see like Brandon fly in front of the vehicle, and then he flies up and hits the side of it, like the passenger side door of the truck, and it kind of like he swerves over in the other lane. And I'm assuming he has some kind of power of electricity. I'm not for sure though. Because the truck stalls and he's sitting there trying to start it, and the headlights are going kind of on and off, And when they kick back on, we just see Brandon standing there. And then of course then the truck dies again, and he's trying to start it. And then when the lights kick back on, now he's like floating down, in front of the truck.
Yeah, he's going up in the air, and he's like, "Oh no!" Like, I guess Brendan has the back of the truck, pulling it up, flying up in the air with it, and let's just say it doesn't end well for the uncle.
Yeah, because he picks the entire truck up. I don't know how high he goes. He goes pretty high though, and he drops it, so the truck falls, head first, in the back of the pavement, and the uncle gets thrown, and the steering wheel goes into his mouth, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of cuts away, and I was like, oh, why did they cut away? I wanted to see that. But whenever it shows after the truck's laying there and Brandon's walking up, it shows, and you can tell that his entire jaw has been ripped off.
Oh yeah.
And he like puts his hand up to cover it, because he's trying to hold it back on there. And I was like, that's what I've been waiting on right there.
Oh man, that's another cringeworthy scene. Golly, I couldn't imagine having a steering wheel hit me in the mouth like that.
That just rip your jaw off.
Of course, that was an older truck, so there was no airbag. I mean, the old style trucks never had that,
Right.
It was just a steering wheel, and that's it.
But Brandon reaches in and like dips his finger in some of the blood and draws his symbol on the pavement. And then I guess it cuts back to the Tori and Kyle, and she's trying to call her sister to find out, where he's at, what he did for school, because he's not home yet. And of course he comes in, and
without his shirt
on, and he makes up a lie about some kids inviting him to go play soccer, but then they were just ended up making fun of him, whatever, and tore his shirt, and he was walking home. So he goes up to bed, and I guess that's when she gets the call from her sister that the uncle was in an accident, and they go to the hospital, which I can't believe that he survived it.
Yeah, that part confused me too.
Yeah, because she says like, they won't let me in there because I guess something about his face, and I was like, oh yeah, his face is definitely fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, please don't go in there.
Yeah.
Your husband's jaw is probably around his back of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene. Yeah, I was the same way as you. I was like, golly, I don't know if I'd want to survive something like that. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
but
definitely just killed me.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a pretty gruesome scene, and of course the question of how the hell did you survive that? And of course, now we get the dad. He's kind of like, what the hell is going on? Like, the dad's starting to question things with young Brandon on how he's acting and how all this bad shit's happening around him. I think that's when he starts to, and this is what I got out of it, I think that's when he starts to start thinking, what the hell, is going on with him.
Yeah, they definitely try to do like a, I don't know how to put it, like he definitely had a better relationship with his mom, right?
Well, she was there protecting him and all that, right. Yeah.
And then I guess I don't want to say they kind of went with like I don't want to say like an evil stepdad or whatever, but that's almost kind of the way it was going, towards the end. I mean, we know that this kid's killing people when he's bad or whatever. That's kind of the way they were going with it, towards the end there.
Yeah. And then it was pinning the husband and wife against each other.
Against each other, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the so like I guess the uncle eventually dies. He doesn't survive having his jaw ripped off. So when they come in the next morning, of course Brandon's already up and he's sitting there eating cereal, and that's when they tell him like he died, and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's when they're but the mom still doesn't like the dad's just like, okay, what the fuck, right? And
Yeah, he's
the
like,
mom is like, I don't know, she just seemed like that would be like a normal response, not a normal response, but she doesn't. I don't know why she held on so long to the fact that there's nothing wrong with her kid. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, especially when there's not really that connection to where she actually gave birth to him.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of different, but I don't know, man. She did find him when he was just a wee baby.
Yeah.
So maybe she had that connection there, and she didn't want to see it, and it kind of plays into real life. Sometimes one parent sees just an innocent kid, and the other one's like, no, that kid's full of shit, and I know I can see it in them.
Yeah,
It's like
because
one
whenever
parent's
the
always
dad,
blind.
yeah, whenever the dad confronts him, it's just like, look, you obviously done something, because they also find out that he was there at their house, is what the aunt tells them.
Yeah,
That's whenever Brandon like pushes the dad into like the shelf or whatever and breaks like all the stuff on the shelf.
knock the elf off and everything. Yep.
Yeah. Uh, but even after that, the mom is still like, he's 12 years old and I think that you let him drive home drunk and now you're just trying to like blame a 12-year-old for it.
Yeah.
Like she's still holding on to it that much that she's like that she's trying to make an excuse of why the father would be trying to make up lies about what this kid is doing. And then of course the father has a dream that night that I almost felt out of place a little bit.
Yeah, the dream sequence, um, it was pretty cool. I thought. I mean, yeah, it was out. I felt like it was out of place, but also I think it was just something trying to tell him, hey, look, man, this ain't right. This kid ain't right.
Yeah, it was definitely a good one because like what it is like of course he in the dream he raises up in his bed and there's like the doorway of the bedroom's like covered in like trees and stuff. So when he steps out of he's automatically like in the forest. And of course he sees her with the ship. So I guess it's kind of like a flashback to when they first got him. And of course she's standing there holding the baby. And they have some back and forth about it and then for some reason like she starts like her eyes start bleeding like black
Yeah.
and like her eyes turn white, and there's the black stuff coming out of her eyes. And of course he wakes up. But I just kind of felt that like I guess we didn't really need that scene, I guess is what I'm saying.
Or the dad was just having a bad acid trip, probably.
It could have
That's what
been,
I'm.
yeah. Well, because when it first happened, because we see him that he's sitting there and he's like sweating. And I was like, well, that's weird. Is the ship talking to him also? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe not. And then I realized, okay, it was just a dream. But like I said, I don't think we really needed that part that we didn't need to see that dream because we knew it didn't give us anything new, right? We knew where he came from. So
Yeah, and I do want to own this movie, and I will have to listen to the commentary on that to explain why. Because I'm with you on that. It was kind of like, what? Well, why did they put it in here? I kind of get why they did. Something's telling him like this ain't right. You are going to die.
right, yeah,
You and your wife are gonna die. Pretty much is what that dream sequence told me. Um, but I'm kind of like you. I want to know. I want to know why they did that. Maybe
yeah.
they cut something out to add that in. Shit, I don't know.
Maybe they did. But I think we missed another key scene, and that's when he actually gets the doors to the barn open where the ship is at, right?
Yeah, he finally gets it open,
and it's like it's talking to him, and he's floating above it, and that's whenever she comes in and sees him. And I guess after the ship stops communicating with him. I guess because it knows she's there or whatever, he falls, and his hand hits the ship, and it actually cuts him.
Yeah.
So it kind of sets up something later. And of course, that's whenever she finally tells him, that's where he came from.
And in that scene as well, he kind of deciphers what the ship has been telling him, because he's talking gibberish beforehand, before all this. When he was having these dreams, he was just saying something. It was weird language.
Right.
And then finally, in that scene that we're talking about, when he's floating, he finally realizes what the ship is telling him.
Yeah, because he starts, it's obviously he's speaking in like the alien language, but then eventually like one word he starts saying it in English, and it's, conquer, and then then he does it again, and then later on he's conquer he adds that to it, and then the last part of it is what he gets here, and it's conquer the world, which I guess is what the ship has been telling him the whole time.
Yeah, like you're supposed to demolish everything and everyone, pretty much is what it's telling him.
Yeah. I guess the husband realizes, I guess, what he has to do, right?
Well, he starts snooping, and he finds that shirt from that night.
Oh yeah, that has the blood on it. Yeah, yeah, that's the part where I was talking about, where she, even though he shows her this shirt with blood on it, she's still saying, like, you let him drive home drunk. It's your fault. You're just trying to blame this kid. That was the scene I was thinking of.
Yeah, and like you said, he realized, okay, I got to do something now.
And that's when he tells Tori that he's going to take him away for the weekend. They're going to go, hunting for the weekend. And then at the same time too, it cuts back to that sheriff, and he notices the symbol in the blood at the scene of the accident.
Yeah, when he's going through those crime scene photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sees that symbol. He's like, what? Okay, now there's something to this. And like you said before, what he found at the restaurant played into now he's suspecting.
Yeah, because he realizes that it could be two B's for Brandon Breyer. So while they're off hunting, the sheriff comes to the house there to, I guess he's going to ask him about it. Of course, he's not there. And whenever he shows the mom the picture to see if she recognizes it, she immediately recognizes it and knows that something isn't right now. Because she runs upstairs and sees... Well, she runs upstairs to get his notebook out of his book bag. And of course, we see the symbol all over the front of it, and she's opening up pages, and like there's just page after page where it's just covered. But then we start seeing that he's drawing pictures of like what he's done, as far as like killing the waitress, and then he has a drawing that he done of him dropping the truck.
Yeah.
And his uncle laying there with his jaw missing and all that. And that's when she realizes that, and of course at the same time it's going back to them hunting, and Brandon sees like some deer tracks, so he goes ahead of his dad, and his dad pulls up the rifle and shoots him in the back of the head.
Yeah, try.
Which does nothing.
Miserably.
Yeah. It does nothing. And whenever Brandon stands up and turns around, he's going to try to... he's trying to like reload again, and of course Brandon just takes off and hits him, knocks the gun out of his hand, and now he's like kind of flying around. The dad's running through the forest, and this was a really good scene because it was just because somehow he got his costume on. I'm assuming he brought it with him. It was probably in the truck or something. So now you have like the dad run through the woods, and you just see like Brandon just flying through, flying around the woods and flying through and shooting through. I thought it looked really cool.
No, that scene was intense. The dad's running, and he can't see, and then you hear like a whoosh or whatever, something fly by and start knocking him around and stuff. Every now and again, knock the dad down.
Yeah, and then the last time he knocks him down, of course he lands there in front of him, and he kind of picks him up. Not really picks him up off the ground, but kind of raises him up a little bit to almost put him. Of course, the dad's don't kill me, don't do anything, please don't kill me, and he releases the heat vision.
Yeah,
right into his eyes.
And that's why I don't want to get LASIK, because this is the scene that I think would happen to me.
Do you think that's what would happen? It would burn your eyes and like
half of my face melted. No more eyeballs. The laser malfunctioned.
Yeah. I think they've got that stuff pretty much under control.
Yeah, but that's just what played in my head. Whenever I watch it, I'm like, God bless. This dude just got his whole face melted off. I mean, shouldn't have. And that's another thing. What the hell? You know what you're dealing with. Why are you gonna shoot him with a hunting rifle? Like, you better have more than one bullet. Like, why didn't you just have a gun that shot more than one bullet?
Well, see, I don't know if he knew that he was like indestructible. Obviously, he knew he had some strength, right? Because when he showed him, but I don't know if he knew he was unkillable.
Yeah, but that's a big gamble. Well, of course, it didn't pay off for him.
Right. Yeah.
That was a bad gamble on the dad's part.
Yeah. So of course at this time it comes back to the mom, and she's trying to call the dad to be like, "Hey, look, you were right the entire time. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
He has killed everybody that you said that he killed. But this time Brandon answers the phone. And of course he tells her that, he's gone. She's like, where's your dad? And he says he's gone. And then when she asks where he's at, he says, I'm home. And it cuts to him, a shot of him floating over top of the house. And he like crushes the cell phone and just like flies down. And he starts like flying through the house, like destroying it, right?
Yeah, proceeds to try to destroy the house, just flying through there, screaming his head off. You lied, and boom, boom, yeah. And the mom's running through, and shit's flying everywhere.
And she dials 911, and I'm trying to figure out why it took like 10 rings for them to answer. Like, that's a horrible 911 service.
Well, it's a small town. They probably had a loose duck somewhere. I don't know.
It could have been, yeah. But she makes it through 911, and before she can, tell him what's going on, he busts, flies through the wall, and she's just like screaming. So when the 911 operator gets a hold of the sheriff, she says that the 911 call came from the Briar House, and it was just a bunch of screaming. The sheriff's like, all right, I'm going to go back. And then, of course, it keeps cutting back and forth, like going from back to the house where he's flying through and just trying to destroy the house, and she's hiding from him. And then it cuts to like the sheriff and this other cop show up at the same time. And the sheriff walks up on the porch, and we see the mom inside the living room, and she's like, no, don't come in here. And that's when Brandon flies into the sheriff.
Yeah.
And when we finally get to look outside, he just completely liquefied this guy.
There's
nothing solid left of him.
Yeah, no sheriff hat or nothing. It's just like a trail of blood on the front porch. Yeah, pretty much. He annihilated him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the mom takes off running upstairs. That's when the deputy comes in, and we kind of stay with the mom for a little bit while I guess the deputy's trying to call for backup. and then it cuts back to the mom upstairs, and that's when we hear like the deputy screaming, and we can hear like thuds, so we know something's going on. And then they come flying through the floor, and he's like pounding her off the ceiling.
See, and I did not catch that until I watched it the second time because it's kind of blurry in the background.
Right. Yeah, but he's just like holding on to her, and just like keeps slamming her into the ceiling, and then he throws her, and she lands in front of the mom, and she is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like she's all twisted up, and of course she's still alive, and I'm like, God damn. But I mean, she eventually dies from it, but she's alive there for the end of it. Her face is all smashed in, her neck's, her body's all twisted up. It looked pretty fucked up.
Yeah, this would be the equivalent of me bitch slapping Chuck Liddell, and this would be the result.
Yeah,
me laying down, bleeding out of the face and everything.
But yeah, so she's like hiding under the bed, and he floats into the room, he floats around a little bit, and he goes back out. And I guess he knows she's under the bed, because he kind of leaves the room, and then we see her she's trying to like come out from underneath the bed, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he comes flying back in real quick, and he's looking for her, and she's hanging out the window. Like she made it out the window, she's just hanging there. But she ends up falling, and she cuts her hand on the way down. And that's when she remembers that ship was the only thing that could stop him, right? Because it cut him.
Yeah, she remembers like, oh shit, maybe I can get a piece of this ship and fight back.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so she remembers back to that part, yeah.
Yeah, so she runs to the barn, she goes down where the ship's at, and I guess it's trying to call out to him again, so it starts lighting up, and that's when we see that what happened to the waitress.
Yeah, which that was a weird scene, like pretty much serial killer-esque is what I would say the scene looked like.
Right.
That red light would just like the red light off that his little pod that was hidden is just flashing, and then the mom's like down there and she sees nothing but his symbol everywhere, and of course you see the waitress pinned up against the wall, naked but like
completely gutted.
Gutted like a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty wicked scene there.
Yeah, but she manages to rip a panel. I don't know how she does it. She rips like a metal piece off the ship.
Yeah.
Puts it in her back pocket. And then she, I guess she's like calling for him, trying to get him to show up. And then she starts doing the whistle, which I guess there's like a callback. That's a callback to the beginning movie where I guess when they played like hide and go seek or whatever, or like some kind of game like that where she would whistle, then he would whistle back, and that's how she knew where he was at. But yeah, she does that again to get him, and of course his mask is now kind of tore up a little bit, which I guess it doesn't have like the same properties as Superman's.
Yeah, his spandex. Yeah,
yeah.
His cloth was ripping because he was flying in and out of the house
through the
trying
walls.
To destroy it. Yeah.
But yeah, she's telling him how like she's always loved him and blah blah blah, and he'll always be her son. She hugs him and she pulls him in for the hug, and then we see that she's got that piece of metal in her hand, and she's gonna stab him in the back. But what happens?
Well, she doesn't get the stab in the back. He catches her and grabs her hand, and then flies straight out the top of the barn where they were hugging. And I give him credit for this too, because she looked messed up, because it looks like she went right through a ceiling or a roof. And she's all bloodied and everything in the face and looking at him, and he's just looking straight up in the air, flying all the way up to where you could see the stars through the clouds.
Right.
And he just lets her go.
Drops her.
That scene was crazy too.
Yeah, because I was like, I wasn't expecting. I was honestly expecting her to kill him. Right. I was expecting like this, happy ending as far as what you could get from a happy ending. But I assumed that she was going to kill him.
I did as well. I thought, well, okay, she's gonna, take out the evil kid, and it surprised me. And then, of course, when he flies all the way up in the air, and then just like lets her go, that scene right there was just crazy. I was like, holy shit, he just bye. And of course, the look on her face is, terror as she plummets back to Earth.
Yeah, I was really expecting to see her hit. I thought they were going to show that. Her hit the ground and just liquefy.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what would have happened.
Yeah, but they did. They didn't show it. The next thing that happens is we see a airliner is coming towards him, and it cuts to the next day, and the airliner had crashed onto their house.
How convenient, right?
Yeah. And of course we're seeing like a news report of, the airline the airline crashed, it killed the mom, killed the dad. And then of course as we're panning through the wreckage, a part of the plane, looked like a piece of the cabin, had his symbol on it. And it keeps going in, and we see him sitting like it looks like in the back of an ambulance. And of course, they the news says that they were survived by by their son.
Yeah.
And then it goes off.
Well, and you know what? Now, during the end credits of this, they have the news story about the jet flying into the house, but I love Michael Rooker's character.
Yes.
He's saying all this crazy stuff's happening, and then he's like, there's a woman that strangles people, and then there's like all these different other like beings that he's talking about.
Yeah, like he mentions a witch that strangles people. Some kind of sea creature.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like the Justice League of murder is what he's like. That gets put together in this little segment of him like, we're all gonna die. We got to do something.
Yeah, I think they kind of done it. It was like almost like this guy had his own YouTube channel. He's talking about cryptozoology or whatever, and weird things that are happening, because it cuts in with other news segments of something spotted during this building collapse. We see this person fly out, and what is it? So it's kind of intercut with all these other news segments of this kid showing this kid or whatever. They don't say that it's him, but
there's spotting
like a figure. Yeah, a figure seen at all these different
disasters,
and they all take place in the town called Brightburn, which I guess that's where the name comes from.
Yeah, Brightburn, Kansas.
Because they don't say it till the end. I just assumed like that was like a name that he took on.
Yeah, I did too. And then that's the big reveal at the end of it. And I really hope that they do more movies about this kid. Him getting older, and I'd like to see the costume that they come up with, because the next movie is definitely going to be older.
Well, what I would like to see is them bring in those other things that they were talking about.
Yeah.
The witch and whatever the sea creature thing was. If they could start bringing those in, that would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be kick-ass.
And do like like an extended universe type thing with it.
I would love that. because I think there's more to this, and especially Brendan's story. I think there's a lot more, and I would like to see that. I would like to
Oh
see
yeah,
where they
definitely.
could take this. That's why I love the movie so freaking much, and that's why I wanted to talk about it because it's that great, and that's what I tell everybody. They're like, "What's Brightburn?" I saw that advertisement. I'm like, "Watch it. It's great. It's awesome."
All right. Yeah, it was definitely good. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it yet, and we haven't ruined it enough for you, definitely watch it. It's definitely
we
worth a watch.
we definitely didn't do just. I mean, just to see the scenes that we talked about. I mean, words can't describe it. I mean, you got to see it.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, it was
it's
definitely
just
good. I
one of
really enjoyed it.
those.
And the kid, what's his name? Jackson Dunn. He done a really good job, playing
Yeah,
the Brandon character.
he did an excellent job. Everybody did a good job. Elizabeth Banks and all of them. All the characters, how everybody played them, was perfect. It was perfectly cast. Of course, it's a better shot movie. I mean, it's not like what our typical B movies are, and it kind of is like a big budget B movie to me.
Yeah,
This is something that wouldn't really exist or go to the theater, and it did, which I love. But yeah, it's just a great movie to watch.
yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Of course, I will say that let's see, two of the death scenes in this movie, also happened in that show, The Boys.
Yes,
And I
yes,
don't
it did.
know, I don't know if those same death scenes happen in The Boys comic book. And so I don't know who copied who, or if anybody copied anybody, or which one came first. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, two of the deaths in this movie happened almost exactly the same way as in The Boys.
Yeah, and I know exactly the two that you're talking about, and I don't want to ruin The Boys for anybody.
No,
And I
because
know this is
that's a
of
really
com-
good show.
it is an amazing show, and I can't wait for the second season. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, and based off the comic book, maybe that's where they got the idea from. But in The Boys, they're not. I like you said, I don't want to ruin anything because I was about to, and I stopped myself.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I really can't wait to watch it again. Just to see if I can spot any other. Now I'll do like my Easter egg hunt when I watch it again. See if I spot anything else in the background.
Yeah, that it's always good to watch something like that. Like you see it the first time, and there's some movies I absolutely hated the first time, and then I watched it again. I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to see things. Like I think it was the last episode we talked about Hereditary and how I watched it again and I started catching shit that I didn't
Right.
see the first time. So definitely Brightburn does have, and I'll let you do your hunt because it's fun to watch again and again. I want to watch it with the commentary though, so I can see why some of these scenes, why they did them the way they did.
Yeah, I would definitely love to pick up the Blu-ray. Like I said, I rented this one on Prime, so
Yeah, I did too.
but yeah, I would definitely love to have the Blu-ray of it, just for like the special features and everything. So,
Hell yeah. So are we doing our rating?
yeah, I'm going to. I will let you go first. Go ahead and what do you rate this film?
Well, I give it a 10. I loved it. I loved it.
10. I am going to give it.
10 pretty goods.
I'm going to have to give it like a 6.
Oh, man.
6 pretty goods.
You're going to
And
give it 6. No.
yeah, well, because I think I've kind of went over this before, and it's probably the reason I really don't like the numbered rating is 10 to me is like the best thing you've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're giving this a 10, you're saying that's the greatest movie ever, right? So for me, like 6, 5, 6 is kind of in the middle of like, hey, it's really good. I enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite movie of all time. You know what I'm saying? And it's also not the worst thing I've ever seen, which would be your 1. So that's how I've always kind of gauged those.
No, everybody's gauge is different. That's why we have the rating system. And the reason I give it a 10 is because if I can watch a movie 3 times and still enjoy the hell out of it, they did a good job. And I'm also basing it off of the story as well.
Right.
The originality is what I really love about my movies. And this is one of my top ones. I mean, and to come out at a time when everything's freaking comic book and you know what I mean? It made its way through, and that's why I'm impressed with it, I guess you could say. And that's why maybe I gave it too much of a high rate, but that's where my gut lies, and that's what I'm going to stick with,
Right. Well, see, I think this movie.
That's my reason for the 10.
yeah, I understand that, but I think this movie only exists because of the superhero movies. You know what I'm saying? Like if we didn't have like the Iron Man, the Avengers, and all that making all this money, I don't think anybody would have been like a movie about evil Superman. No, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I think because of I think it came out at the right time. In the middle of all the hype.
Yeah, and of course it's kind of like, James Gunn was attached to it, and of course we all know what James Gunn had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like, hey, check this movie out, like, okay, you don't want me to do Guardians 3? Well, check out what I'm going to do with this.
Yeah, and it turns out he's doing Guardians 3.
Yeah, he still comes out, doing it, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I guess.
I mean, like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I liked it. I definitely look forward to a sequel, either with the Brandon character or the other characters that were mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they would have mentioned them at the end like that unless they had plans on doing something with them. So I kind of expect to see like an Unbreakable split, kind of universe being set up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely, and I hope they do it.
Yeah, I really do. I think it'll be good. And of course, the fact that it's gory. You know what I'm saying? That it's not. That was like an enjoyable part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I really enjoyed The Boys, which I'd watched before this. You know what I'm saying? But the just the fact that they made it gory was just like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a superhero horror movie, which can't go wrong with that. Well, maybe you can.
Yeah, you can. But they didn't hear.
Oh man, yeah. So cool. I mean, shoot, that's it.
Yep. So I guess we'll skip the original way I do this. So
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Where can they find you on the internet, Mr. Poe?
Well, they can find me on Twitter at They Call Me Mr. Poe. I also have an Instagram, and those are my personal ones. But also the lovely, awesome website, 1313 Inc. at WordPress.com is where everything Poe and Grimm and everything else that we're doing. And I put everything on there, so it's just like a one-stop deal. So, but also you can catch me on the Sci-Fi Sideshow on B-Movie TV, and it's Sundays at 8. And those are all the places you can find me.
There you go. See, that makes it easier. Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter at 1313 Inc. And you can find links to everything else on the website, 1313inc.wordpress.com. We've got links to the stores, latest episodes. All the episodes are listed there. I recently put up pictures of all the celebrities that I've met, so you can go check those out. And yeah, of course, we're going to do more stuff with it in the future.
Oh yeah, I look forward to seeing what this new year is going to bring us, especially with the stuff that you're going to be attending, and then of course I'm going to be attending some stuff, and we're going to share it all with you guys, and appreciate all the listens that we get, and hearing us jaw jack about these movies that we get ourselves into.
Yeah, because we definitely have fun doing it.
Oh,
and we will continue to do it. I'm looking forward to October also. That's going to be a fun month.
Yes, I'm looking forward to October, man. That it's our time of the year, and I love it. Yeah, you got some. I know you got some stuff planned, and then I got some stuff planned as well for the many different things that I'm involved in. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
Yep. And yeah, so everybody, thanks for listening. Again, if you are listening to this, make sure that you leave us a comment on Podbean or the iTunes store, wherever you listen to us at. And if you're on the Facebook group, I'm trying to get it more interactive. So leave some suggestions how we should improve the show, or movies that we should watch, anything that you've seen that you think we would enjoy discussing. Leave that on there, and we'll definitely try to check them out. So until next week, thanks for listening.
It has been established that persons who have recently